And there were two twins who loved dancing and playing. One was a really good dancer, not gonna lie. They used to dance and dance and dance every single day until one simple day. The twin asked if we can go to the daycare and go and climb up some stuff because they were bored. So once the two of them went up this and they decided to play in it because it looked cool. But they realized that they could jump onto the roof of it. They kept trying and trying, and one of them actually made it. But of course it was quite difficult for them. They loved sitting on it every single day until they got up there. They sat up there and they just felt relieved. They felt relieved that they were up there. All calm and stuff. They just loved it so much. One of the twins decided to play on the edge. They decided to play it on the edge because they thought it was a good idea. They thought it was a good idea to play on the edge, but the other sis accidentally pushed her off. And she hurt herself. The sis did not mean to. She couldn't do anything. She remembered that she got an old iPhone so she could call the ambulance. Hello, my sis just fell. The ambulance came, but very slow. They tried and tried till the ambulance arrived at the place. The girl could not get down. First of all, the twin was taken to the hospital and was driving away because she needed help. Then the girl called the fire department to see if she could get down, but of course it did not work. But she did try. Well, a fire truck came and they tried to get her down. She called and called and called until a fire thing came and tried getting her down. So they went inside. The fire department tried getting her down by a ladder that they found, which they thought was very useful. It could get on half of the roof, but it just wouldn't work. But of course they tried to save. They got into the second layer, and they couldn't potentially do much until they actually got up. Until they actually got up and saved the child. Saved the child from everything. She got down, put her in the truck to see if anything would happen. See if she could see her sis. But the fire department just took her home. The fire department just took her home to be safe and sound. But the girl didn't like that because she wanted to see her sis. But the fire department said, your sis is not very well at the moment. So, she had to go to her home, which she was not really happy about because all she wanted was to see her sister because she did not mean to throw her off. It was very sad for the sis, but she had to hold it in for her sis. See if she would survive. She went home. The fire department tried to get her home safely. The fire department got her home. And the sis didn't want to go inside, but they had to. The girl went inside and just looked out the window to see what was happening. But it was just a fire truck just going away. It wasn't that interesting. What she missed the most, though, of course, was her sister. Her sister, she did not mean to throw off. She was so upset. She even watched the TV to see if anything was going on, but she couldn't recognize how to turn on the TV because she was way too little for it. She didn't understand a single thing. She was still wondering that one day what happened to her sis because she never got calls. She was starting to get worried to see if anything's happened to her sister. Well, is she okay? She's fine? What's going on? No one knows what happened to her sis that one day. They never told her what actually happened to her sis until they got a call. Until the girl got a call and they said, hello. You'll be surprised of what happened to the sister. It might be a sad story. The sis was in shock. She stood up and started to literally cry. She was so upset. She didn't know what to do. She was crying. But the doctor said that she could say goodbye to her sister at the hospital. But the sister didn't want to because she was so scared. She was so scared of everything. She did not know what to do. She was, I don't know how to explain it, but she was unbelievable what happened. She missed her sis so much. Like literally so much. She couldn't do a single thing. Just for one thing. She couldn't even cook anything. She wasn't like that person anymore. She was crying her eyes out. So she decided to go to the hospital and say her last word. She wanted to go and say her last word, so she called a taxi to come and get her. She called a taxi to come and get her to see if they would actually come. The sis was still crying. The taxi said, "Why are you crying?" The girl didn't want to tell her anything, so she decided not to say anything and ended the call. The taxi ended up not coming, so she had to call back. "Hey, I want a taxi." So a few minutes later, the taxi came and picked her up. From it. And they said, "Where do you want to go?" She said the hospital. The girl was like, "You need to go?" "No, it's my sister." "Oh, what happened?" She didn't want to talk anything because she was just a stranger. So she decided not to say anything. The taxi still went to the hospital though because she had no idea. She wouldn't talk at all, so she went to the hospital. She got out, didn't see anyone at the counter until she waited a while for a person to come in. And they said, "Hello, hi, I'm looking for my sis." Oh, it's you. It's you. Sure, come with me. Okay. The nurse showed her another room where her sis was. She doesn't look she was in pain, but when the sis actually saw her sis, she started to cry because they didn't want to lose each other. The sis tried to walk out and give her a hug. Okay guys, this story is actually making me cry. I'm not joking, this is actually making me cry. Anyway, sorry. They hugged each other, high-fived each other, and only then, the nurse took her. The nurse took her. The girl wanted to come too, but the nurse said sure, but one at a time. She pulled out another thing that they could go on. The sisters did not want to say goodbye to each other at all. They were really confused. They were just playing around. They were just playing around at all costs. And now this happened. The other sis couldn't get on, so the nurse said, only one person now. The sisters did not want to say goodbye to each other at all. But they had to, because if they didn't, that would be very sad. The sis did not want to say goodbye. The sis said, no matter what happens, we'll always be together. The sis actually started to cry. They missed each other so bad. They didn't want to leave each other. They've been together for such a long time. And they didn't want to leave each other. They started to cry even. They didn't know what to do. The nurse took her because they couldn't potentially do anything much. The girl followed to see what would happen. The nurse said, don't follow. But she peeked through to see what was happening. They did some tests, and the sis has now... The nurse came back and said, bad news. Sorry for your loss. The girl smashed in tears. She didn't know what to do. The nurse said, do you want to go to her funeral? The nurse started to dress in black. And everything. She was actually crying. The girl didn't want to change, but she did what her and her sis used to wear. She was still crying over it. She made herself taller, then she took them off because she didn't want to get memories. The nurse said, it's okay. At least he spent some time with her, you know. She said, okay. The nurse took her. The nurse took her, dropped her, put her in her car. The girl was still crying. She had absolute no idea what to do. She missed her sis. It was so sad. They were sisters for such a long time. And now it's finally come true. The girl said, you ready? She said, no. I need some time alone. I just missed my sister. Okay. She said, come on, let's go. The sis went in. It was literally the saddest thing of my life. It was the saddest thing of my life. She missed her sis. She even cried at funeral. It was so sad. She had no idea what to do without her sister. The nurse just said, "I tried everything I could. I'm sorry for your sis." The nurse gave her something. Gave her a monkey that her sis used to give her before, like they used to play with. The sis stopped for a moment. This is what the sis gave to me when she said goodbye. The sis was crying because this is her favorite toy that the girl gave to her. The nurse started to cry. Yes, even the nurse. The nurse went away in tears. She had no idea what to do. I know, guys, I'm sorry if this has upset you, but I cannot believe I just made that. I'm literally crying in real life. Oh my god. Anyway, this is just a roleplay. It's actually making me cry. Okay. Anyway, this is just a roleplay, just saying. And I'll see you go. I'll see you guys in the next one. And goodbye.